Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to the garage. This is the Tesla CyberQuad. This thing came out back in 2021. Tesla launched these on their website. They're meant to be like a kid's toy, a kid's ATV. They launched them back in, I think it was like December of 2021. They didn't, and then people didn't get them until March of 2022. And then shortly after that, Tesla did a recall or Radio Flyer. Tesla partnered with Radio Flyer on these things to make them and distribute them. And then Radio Flyer issued a recall, and all of them got taken off the shelves. If you had one, you could send back the motor controller and get a refund on the price. So I wanted to give you just some quick information on this thing because this thing is back on the Tesla website. It's back for sale after all these recalls, after a few people got hurt with them. Now they're back. You can buy them again on the Tesla website. All right, so initially when I looked at these back in December of 2021 when they came on the Tesla website, they sold out like within a day, and I wasn't able to get one. Where I ultimately found this one is this was like the middle of 2022. It's probably June or July of 2022. Someone in my area was reselling this. They bought it for their kid. Their kid was too scared of it. They didn't like it. And so I think I paid like $1,700 to buy this on the secondary market. Now new, back in 2021, the price was $1,900. The price now that they're back on the website is the same price, $1,900 for this kid's toy CyberQuad look-alike. Now when I bought this in June of 2022, I was like, wow, this is a lot cheaper. People were trying to resell these for like hundreds or even $1,000 more than the asking price, which is kind of a joke. My kids wanted one, so we kind of found one. We've been driving around. The kids have been beating it up. We had it for a couple months. The rear motor went out. There's like a bolt in the axle in here that keeps shearing off. The build quality is really not that good. The brakes really aren't that good. You know, it's just a cable-driven brake. There's no real suspension on the front. There's just a little shock on the back. It's really meant for like kids probably 8 to 10 years old to drive this thing around. It's got a cool light on the front. It's got a rear brake light. It has a two-speed change. You can change it from like 5 miles an hour to 10 miles an hour as the top speed, so it's kind of slow. It's really not meant to be like off-roaded, probably just around the neighborhood, things like that. So we've had it. Now, we owned it for probably 5 or 6 months, and when Tesla issued this recall, or I guess it was Radio Flyer who issued this recall, I was able to send the motor controller of this thing in back to Radio Flyer, which basically disabled it. We weren't able to use it after that. Sent it back in. They sent me a check for $1,900. So I made a couple bucks more than what I paid for it, and I was pretty happy about that. But the cool thing is you can buy aftermarket scooter motor controllers, which I did, and slap them in here, and I wired it up. Now the reverse doesn't work. The reverse isn't working. The rear tail light's not working. It only has one speed, and it doesn't do reverse, but it still works right now. And I was able to spend 30 bucks on a motor controller, and now this thing's working. So it's been a good deal because I got my money back on it, but the real question is it worth paying $1,900 for this thing, buying it brand new, now that Tesla's they're kind of relaunching it as more of a toy than they are an ATV, because it was kind of classified wrong, and that was the problem and why people were getting hurt on this thing is it was kind of classified as an ATV or a quad, and those kind of have different rules and different warnings and things like that. But it's really meant to be a kid's toy, something the kids to kind of ride around the neighborhood. I want to give you guys a quick tour kind of how these look, because it looks like they haven't changed anything on the website. Now that they're relaunching these things, these look at the same as these old ones here. Let me show you a couple issues this has had, and I'm sure the new ones have as well. There's a bolt that's supposed to go through the axle here. This side has it. This bolt keeps shearing off. I've put 4 or 5 different bolts in here. They keep breaking because the torque of this is basically moving that. So that shears off. I've had to get the motor replaced. Luckily, Radio Flyer sent me a new one. It is a 36-volt lithium battery that's used. You can see here's the battery monitor there. That lights up. I was able to reuse the same battery system on mine since I've redid the motor controller. Check this out. I have this aftermarket motor controller, and I just slapped some of the wires together. And to turn mine on, it's a little different here. I think we should use this switch here. We use that switch there. The power switch is disabled, and this is the 2-speed switch. So we just push down to 2, and then we're reusing that switch, and the front light comes on, and it's basically just stuck in like the 10 mile an hour, the top speed mode. But it kind of works pretty good actually. For what it is. We'll give you kind of a demo here. We got a 13-year-old boy. He's going to try this out, show you how it actually goes and runs. Let's put this seat back on. So how you charge, you have to take the battery out to charge it. It comes with this little charger here. It's got like a green light. It kind of looks like the Tesla mobile connector, kind of Cybertruck-ish shape. So you take the battery out and you plug it in that little outlet right there and charge it. Lasts quite a while. You can ride this for several hours. The brakes are really squeaky. I don't know what, it's just like a cable-driven brake like you'd find like on a mountain bike or something. But let's kind of go around. Ours doesn't reverse, it just goes forward only the way I've wired it. But we're going to do some laps here, just kind of show you what it's all about. All right, one thing I want to show you real quick before we start driving it is just how these front wheels move. If you can see, there's no suspension, there's no A-arm that's like moving, there's no shocks. When you crank the wheel all the way over, or the handlebars, these wheels turn like, it's almost like a 90-degree turn, and it makes it so it's kind of top heavy and it can flip kind of easily. I think that's the problem with this, why they got recalled. Look how much that wheel turns. Go ahead and turn it the other way. It just turns too sharp, and a kid that really hasn't had that much experience riding one of these is going to just, if they're going full speed and crank the wheel, and you can flip it. We flipped it a couple times. All right, let's show us all the. Okay, this is full power, 10 miles an hour. Just see some riding around. All right, that's pretty good on concrete. Let's show you kind of how it goes through grass. Oh, dude, you almost flipped it. That front wheel come off the ground when you did that turn right there. Yeah, so you got to be careful when you're turning. I mean, the front light looks pretty cool, like the Cybertruck. We don't have the rear one working, but works pretty good. I mean, it's probably pretty fun to drive around, right? Yeah. It looks cool. The kids like riding it around, but the real question is it worth $1,900? Because you can get an actual gas powered kids, like 50cc or 100cc ATV for them to ride around. This is a little easier to ride around in the neighborhood because it's not noisy, it's quiet. It's relatively slow. It's not that fast. Kids can ride it. All right. All right, guys, as you saw, this is a pretty fun little toy for kids. I mean, it's not meant to be like an off-roading ATV. It's just meant to be around the block, riding around. You can get hurt on it. It can go up to 10 miles an hour, so, you can get hurt, especially if this tips over, rolls over, and the kid's not wearing a helmet or things like that. You can get hurt, definitely. But I would say it's probably not worth $1,900. I bought this thing. It was like, I bought it for $1,700. I bought it kind of like a used version of it, a used one. And I was super grateful that I got all my money back from Radio Flyer as a recall. This isn't Tesla built. Tesla didn't build this thing. Radio Flyer's building it. So it's kind of like, it's almost like a Power Wheels quality. I mean, it'd probably be worth like a $400 is probably more appropriate price for this thing. But because Tesla's branded it, it looks like the CyberQuad. It does look pretty cool. It's just not worth the price tag they're asking. It is overpriced for what it is. But, guys, you can kind of make the decision. We've enjoyed it, but I'm glad I got my money back out of it. And, your kids will probably enjoy it too if you end up getting one. It'll be interesting to see how well these sell, because back in 2021 was like the height of COVID and everything was selling out, bikes and this kind of stuff was selling like crazy back then and sold out. But They're still available on the Tesla website. They've been available for a couple days, and so I guess we'll see how they sell. And it looks like it's the same exact thing too. They haven't changed anything other than probably throwing a bunch of warning labels all over it, so you don't get hurt on it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I thought this was an interesting video. This is a cool little CyberQuad. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.